What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who knows best. In today's video, we're talking again about Season 2 of Tekken 8, which goes without saying at this point has not been received very well by the community. In yesterday's video, we kind of addressed the situation and talked about everything that's going on and the dooming that some people are doing, and then the actual valid constructive criticism of others. We talked about what's going on at the patch and everything, and basically, y'all understand that Tekken 8 is not in the best state, and most people are not a fan of it right now. Well, there's obviously been a lot of conversation on Twitter, on YouTube, in videos, in comment sections, in Twitch streams, in the Twitch chats. And today we actually got a response from none other than Katsuhiro Harada himself. He has been relatively quiet in response to any feedback, positive or negative, to the Season 2 update for Tekken 8, but today he actually did reply to somebody, and we've got some news and information regarding a patch that's coming up very soon. Well, not soon enough, honestly, but relatively soon, I should say. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump over to Twitter and take a look at something. So this tweet, I think actually before we really jump into this tweet, we have to take a look at what it's being, who he's replying to and how this started. There's a player on Twitter who added Harada and Michael Murray and said that he's been having a lot of fun. Great, love that for him. Nothing, no issue, no qualms, cool. But Michael Murray and the team, particularly Michael Murray, have been getting criticized. Also, I just realized my camera's not on screen. I apologize for that. Have been getting criticized for being extremely selective with who they interact with and respond to on social media, and particularly Twitter, and not in the greatest way. So he responds saying, "Glad to hear that. Yeah, people can be rude, but still going to search through all the feedback and report to balancing team. Hopefully we can find a more middle ground where more legacy fans are excited about the game too." To which he, as you can see, these tweets were getting a lot of engagement, lots of quotes and replies. And there's nothing wrong with this tweet, really, in my opinion. Some people did definitely take it out of context and go way too overboard. And he goes on to say, "Okay, you guys read too much into a single word. Legacy equals longtime fans of the series, meaning listening to what they like about the series, which they feel is no longer there. You guys are really just trying to talk shit now." Which, again, like it oftentimes feels like these guys don't respond to the people who give valid and constructive criticism, and then they do respond to the negativity. And again, I get it. I'm a content creator with a platform of my own. I do it myself on Twitter in the comment section, but it's like you got to balance that out with responding to the positivity and those who support you and are also just trying to help and being sincere and everything like that. And it doesn't feel like that gets done nearly as much. To which somebody replies saying, "This is the importance of doing regular updates and changes year round. You guys hype it up, then are rude to the actual community that cares about the game and willing to spend money on it to keep it going and happy. Then you guys wonder why the only 3D fighting game with no competition should be doing way better instead of where it's at. But yes, let's be rude by being upset about the current state of the game. It's not good. You sound like a parent that gets upset at your child, being reasonable and calling it disrespectful." Now, to some extent, I understand where this dude is coming from, and I kind of agree. But there's obviously been a lot of people who genuinely are very, very rude. There have been people sending death threats, just spewing some really hateful things that are just going way too far, because it is just a video game at the end of the day. And while we have every right to be disappointed and upset and voice our concerns and give negative feedback, there are definitely a lot of people who are taking things like way too far. To which this person replies, it says, "People respond to tagging the devs and tweets calling them redacted and a bunch of other slanders, not respectful, bro. There's plenty of shit to shovel in the mentions. Twitter Tekken is so entitled, it's crazy." And I do agree with that to some extent. To which Harada then replies, "In any case, it is clear to me that the result is a disconnect between what the community wants and the tuning results." And I think, yeah, that's very apparent. It then begs the question to me though, like, how did we get there? What created this disconnect? Because I feel like the community has been very, very, very vocal. And while there are some what I would consider outliers, people like this original guy who says, "Hey, I'm actually having a blast with the game, so thank you so much," I think the vast majority of people who are giving feedback are saying, "Hey, we don't really like the direction of this game, and we definitely don't like what you did with Season 2. So like, I wonder whose feedback they were valuing the most, and you know what they took into consideration when crafting this update, because for the most part it seems like there's way more unhappy people than happy people. Like I said, there's a few out there, but I don't know, and it could just be the vocal minority. That's definitely a thing, but I don't know, man. Like I've never seen a community quite like this in response to an update. It really does feel like the overwhelming majority are not fans and not happy. Anyway, I understand that whatever words I may be accused by the community about it, that is not a central issue and it's not the time to worry about it. Basically saying, hey, I understand people are going to have their qualms and they're going to say some things that, you know, could be hurtful, but I'm not really worried about that. We have our battle and tuning team working around the clock to read through all the feedback logs from the community and work on future policies and changes for the better. Thanks. Which, you know, is a decent response. I mean, it's not really saying a whole lot. It's other than saying, hey, in a matter of words saying, yeah, we might have made a mistake somewhere, but hey, I got the team working around the clock. But like, this isn't really gonna do a whole lot for a lot of people. It's worth talking about though, just because he replied at all. But people want action, they want results, they want a patch, they want things to either get reverted or fixed or whatever. And the problem is though, is that even though this kind of sounds good and there is a patch coming that we're about to talk about, like you've lost the trust of the community. Like that bond or that trust has been completely shattered, because like we mentioned in yesterday's video, in that Evo FGC update where they acknowledged that, you know, the game was too aggressive basically and said, hey, we're going to focus on defense and everything like that, and then turn on to the polar opposite, it really feels like, you know, you lied to us. You know what I mean? A lot of people feel like they were just straight up lied to. Understandably so, probably because they were lied to. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were some nerfs and there were a couple of good changes here or there, but it's far outweighed by the insane buffs character guy and all the bad changes that happened. On top of the fact that you have like actual bugs and glitches, like Jack's 2-1 being like gapless into his brand new move and just creates like this infinite block string, and then Paul's unblockable and everything like that. Like, there's some legitimately like game breaking stuff right now that needs to be fixed. I assume that will be fixed in the patch. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the next tweet, which is about a brand new patch. So this one comes from the official Tekken Twitter that reads, "Fighters, we are aware of the current community feedback regarding Tekken 8 Season 2. We are carefully reviewing the balance of the game. Expect more information about these changes soon. In addition, an emergency patch will be released in April to address the following issues. Character behavior issues confirmed in Tekken 8 version 2.00.01 that are particularly urgent. Paul's Hammer of the Gods, which is the unblockable thing I was talking about, results in guaranteed follow-up on block, which was not intended. And then Jack 8's jab elbow into make some noise. That's 2-1 to up forward 1+2. When blocking, the third hit is uninterruptible. It's a gapless block string that you just have to hold. In addition to the issues mentioned above, we're also working to identify the causes of other behavioral issues and implement fixes. These fixes are planned to be included in the emergency patch version 2.00.02, scheduled for release in mid to late April. So it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks from now. At the soonest, because it says mid to late April, and April just started. Today's what, the 3rd right now? Yeah, today's April 3rd. So for another couple of weeks at the very least, we still are gonna have to deal with the chip damage throws, I think, in Heat, as well as Paul and Jack having legitimately game-breaking stuff. As a matter of fact, just before I recorded this video, I was literally watching Diaphone stream. Phenomenal player and content creator, you guys should check him out if you haven't before. And he was playing Tekken, he picked up Jack, not a Tekken player. He was doing just this, 2-1 to up forward 1+2 over and over and over again, went from beginner rank to Tenryu on a 20-game win streak in one sitting in about an hour on stream. Like, you know, and it's not just like some noob stompy scrub killer stuff. Like, it's legitimately like very difficult and nearly impossible to deal with, even if you are a strong player. So yeah. Anyway, the cause of the 2 high priority issues shown in the image have been identified and fixes are currently underway. Additionally, we are also working on identifying and fixing the causes of other behavior related character issues and a malfunction in the option setting. An emergency patch, version 02 basically, is scheduled for release in mid to late April. This patch will also include some of the adjustment items previously announced in the patch notes under future adjustments, notably the throw break chip damage change. Even after the release of patch blah blah blah, we will continue to carefully review and respond to feedback from the community. We will provide detailed information and the release date as soon as they are confirmed. Thank you for your passion." So very professional response. Speaking of professional responses, there's one more thing I kind of want to address here momentarily. But this is cool. You know, this is obviously a good thing, but it's not much. You know, it's going to take a lot more than this to win the trust back of the community. It's going to take a lot more than this to satisfy the community. It's going to take a lot more than this to fix the game, because the game is legitimately in need of fixing. I mean, if you've listened to literally anybody talking about the game, whether it's top players like Kwis or Joka or Speed Kicks or anyone, Arslan Ash, Knee, they're not happy the game's busted. If you listen to content creators, myself, VDX, Sajam, Maximilian, even they are chiming in and saying like, yeah, this is busted. This is like unbelievable. Like, I actually cannot believe this. And then even every level of player, from the casual to the Guide of Destruction ranks, whether they're competitive, like, you know, traveling sponsored players or just people who just play the game online, it's mostly negative feedback. So it's going to take way more than this to fix things, but I guess it's the tiniest baby step in the right direction. That being said, this is very little, and it's also going to take several weeks to get here. Well, I say several, bare minimum 2 to 3 weeks to get here, which I think is an issue. Something like this feels like it should be able to get fixed like in a couple of days. You know what I mean? maybe that's an unrealistic expectation, but I don't think it is, because when I've seen like game breaking stuff like this in other games, it has gotten fixed much sooner than what they're doing with Tekken right now. With this, if like the priority that are particularly urgent, if it's so urgent, right, I don't think it should take 2 to 3 weeks to fix these two things in particular, with Paul's Hammer of the Gods and Jack Cage's Jab Apple. Like, there's way more that needs to be addressed. But if you're like, oh, this is, they're acknowledging this as game breaking, it's urgent, we need an emergency patch, we got to fix this right away. You can't get it out a little bit sooner? I just feel like I've seen other games turn around and get things done like in a day or two or a week at most. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, I guess. And then yeah, whatever else that they add in this patch is probably not gonna really be enough. You know what I mean? Anyway, I said this is a professional enough response, and obviously you would expect so coming from the official Tekken Twitter account. But the final thing I kind of want to address is that, again, it doesn't feel like individually the team is responding very well to feedback. I need to check to see if Nakatsu has actually responded to anybody at all on Twitter, but the person who's kind of been in the weeds the most is Michael Murray. And the game is obviously getting a lot of negative press right now, a lot of like bad reviews on Steam, a lot of videos speaking negatively about the game. Everybody who's on stream talking about the game is not speaking highly of it. It's a really bad look. But when we're talking about bad looks, this is really the cherry on top here. If we take a look at this tweet here, we have a player streamer by the name of Mrs. Playstuff, who you may or may not be familiar with. She's a content creator developer from Norway, as her bio reads, and she plays Tekken. She plays it at a decently high level as well. And she dropped this tweet and says, well, at least I know my opinions were seen. Also, people are allowed to block whomever they want, but it's still a pity for me. I thought I was able to express myself in a way that was criticizing the game and not a person on the team. And she drops this screenshot, and as you can see by this screenshot, she was blocked by Michael Murray. And do you want to know what she said that was so bad to get her blocked by Michael Murray? This was the tweet. Please stop victimizing the game like it's a person with feelings. It's a product that is there for our enjoyment. We are customers who paid for a game that changed for the worse. If we don't like the direction, we are allowed to give a negative review on it, just like you're also allowed to like it and give a positive review. She followed that up by saying, reminder, this is not you going to the devs and harassing them by saying, keep yourself safe. I'm not for that at all. But you are totally allowed to criticize their actions too, as well as you can praise them if you think they did good instead. I kind of thought this spoke for itself, but this is Twitter and a crazy battlefield. That's all she said. And that got her blocked by Michael Murray. And with me addressing this and acknowledging it, I won't be surprised if I end up getting blocked by Michael Murray. And I don't like to really feed into drama. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's a lot of things like I don't cover or talk about because I just feel like it's just unnecessary drama. But this is just like, call it what you want, but like, this is just such a bad look. Like, this is like kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? This was very, very tame, very calm. You know what I mean? Like, this was so inoffensive in my opinion. And Michael Murray, who was obviously a very important figure in Tekken, responded to it so negatively that he blocked her. And this tweet right now has about almost 350 retweets, a lot of likes. Obviously I've bookmarked it, a couple 100,000 views, lots of replies, and people in the comments are like just like in disbelief. They're like, he really blocked you over this? Like, this is super immature and unprofessional. Obviously some people are taking it a little far, but like, yeah, Michael Murray's been blocking a lot of people on Twitter, and I don't think that's very productive. Again, I'm not necessarily judging him for blocking people generally speaking, but like, this is play stuff. She didn't say or do anything that was really warranted of that, in my opinion. And yeah, this is a respected person in the community who didn't say anything crazy. Like, I understand certain people getting blocked, especially considering the language that's getting used, but this is just like, it's just bad publicity. It's just really bad publicity for Tekken. So it feels like there's a lack of accountability and responsibility being taken, a lack of maturity and professionalism to some degree. And I think that's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, and is just turning more and more people off from wanting to play or support the game. And I hope that we see some change with that soon. I want to some degree, be like, oh, well, I understand that he's in a really tough position right now. He's probably very frustrated and is maybe a little bit more sensitive to everything right now just because of all the crazy stuff that's being sent his way. That is, again, too far, undeserved, everything like that. So like, to some degree, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, but it's just like, so yeah. Anyway, emergency patch coming soon. Harada has acknowledged everything, but it's like acknowledging that things need change, or that, you know, there's going to be fixes. Like that, it doesn't really mean a whole lot until we actually see the results, because they acknowledged already multiple times in the Evo FGC video and the Tekken talk that, hey, offense is really high, we're going to focus a bit on defense, and then didn't do that whatsoever. So they straight up lied to us before, so who's to say they won't do it again? And I guess time will tell what this next patch really entails, how much it'll actually change or fix or matter, and then what we get beyond that. Because again, it's April now. Next month is the official start of the TWT. Evo Japan's kicking off. You have players who in about 30 days are going to be competing for money and points and traveling hundreds, if not thousands of miles to play this game, like professionally. And this is the state that it's in. And a lot of them are not looking forward to that. I've even seen some people say, like, I'm just not gonna go. I'm just actually gonna stay home and just, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, they need to act. They need to act in a big way. They need to act fast. Like I said, I've said it and other people have said it as well. It's extremely unrealistic, but real talk, they would be better off just reverting the game back to season 1. They would legitimately just be better off reverting the game back to season 1 until they can, you know, sort a lot of this out. That's not going to happen, obviously, but I want the game to succeed, man. I really do, but I don't feel like they want their own game to succeed, so I don't know, man. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all this content when I bring you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. And remember, nothing can happen to you swing the bat. Later. Alright, so real quick, I was going to wrap up this video, but as soon as I hit the stop record button, I looked over my other monitor at Twitter, and I saw this tweet from FeedX that just dropped literally a moment ago. And I immediately retweeted it after I read it because, yeah. And I wanted to throw it in this video because I think it should be seen. So, he says, "We were so close to a really fire Tekken after TWT ended. The pros started showing tons of counterplay and creative solutions. At the STL finals, Knee used a snake edge to beat a Yoshimitsu bad breath, which was pretty hype. At Korea vs Pakistan, we saw tons of heat bursts get sidestepped and launched. Great. And who can forget how hyped Newmon vs Edge was at TWT 2024? A few nerfs to the homing strings, the tracking heat burst, and the chip damage would have put the game in an amazing state. I agree. Like, while there were some things that were very frustrating about the game, overall, their philosophy and vision when it comes to like aggression and offense wasn't inherently bad, and just with a couple of tweaks and just toning things down a little bit, it could have been something like really special, and like the potential is definitely there, and it still is, but now there's a much bigger mountain to climb after they've dug themselves into such a hole. But I digress. For new moves, the heat smash adjustments I generally enjoy a lot. The heat smashes reintroduced as meter moves are generally not my favorite, including Lillian's Thieves, but the weakness cover-ups and do everything moves feel like a modded game, not a mainline title update. At the end of season 1, I was logging on every day to drill Tekken and rewire myself to learn to attack better. I was running long sets with my friends, streaming to entertain and educate, and always looking forward to logging on again. Now I have to decide if the new vision of Tekken is worth completely rewriting again for. The new rank system is really cool to me, but the gameplay required to climb it, personally, is not for me. I was on a battle high of reading and studying the patch while trying to make balanced, level-headed content about it. Now that I'm coming down from it, morale is pretty low. I don't think my opinion holds much weight to the development team, but I wouldn't have made nearly daily videos this whole year if I didn't love Tekken. I wanted to share and teach what makes this series so special. I don't know if I'll have the passion for that in this new direction. Please revert the patch." Which is honestly kind of heartbreaking, because Fee loves Tekken so much that, for one, like, it's what his channel, all his content is based off his Tekken, right? And he's amassed an incredible following in the past year since Tekken 8's release because he's so passionate and so knowledgeable and so diligent and hardworking that, you know, it's gotten a lot of people into the game. He's taught a lot of people. It's, you know, helped him a lot as a creator and everything like that. And this is how people are feeling, man. Somebody this passionate who's like their whole livelihood revolves around the game is just like, I don't even know if I want to play anymore. You know what I mean? And it's funny because Fee, in my opinion, gets a lot of extremely undeserved criticism and hate at times. He's been nicknamed ShieldDX by a handful of very ignorant people out there because he likes Tekken and enjoyed Tekken 8. And so every time there was anything that he acknowledged as cool or interesting or fun, there were people like how could you possibly like this? And anyway, the point is that, like, if even the person that people are labeling as a shill, even though I'm sure he's never received a single cent from Bandai Namco, because I've also never received a single cent from Bandai Namco, if even the quote-unquote shill is feeling this way about the game, I feel like that speaks volumes, you know? So I think it would dead ass be within the best interest to revert the patch, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah. Anyway, for all this time, I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. Easy.